What's going on, people, members of the channel, and maybe you're just a curious viewer? Either way, I'm glad you're here, and I appreciate you. So thank you for stopping by and giving me a view. So last Friday, I dropped my latest single called "Where the Breeze At." Made a music video for it that's out on YouTube. It's been doing pretty well. Sorry, there was just a storm here, so if I'm a bit nasally, I'm just congested from the stuff that's been flying around lately. But I dropped it. I dropped "Where the Breeze At" last Friday. It's been reciprocated pretty well by the people who have listened to it. My close friends and family have also told me that they all really like it and enjoy it. And a lot of people are telling me like they really like the way it sounds. They relate to it. So it's been dope, and I'm glad I released it. But I figured, why not do a song breakdown of how I made it and kind of showcase some things that I think are a little important and sometimes overlooked when it comes to beat making and being a producer. So one of those things being that this if you haven't heard it, please go check it out. But if you have heard it, then you might realize like this song, the track of it is actually the main part of it is just a sample that is on loop. And I think that's very important to talk about because, sampling right now is very, I'm going to hide this real quick. Sampling right now is very, it always has been a part of the hip hop culture, but I feel like as much as hip hop has grown, sampling has really, just taken a whole new world and a whole new like meaning when it comes to music. And this is kind of one of those tracks where it showcases the power of sampling and like how chopping it and pitching it and doing these different things to it can actually, it really does, like, taking just a sample and chopping it and then just looping it and then saying whatever it's done is fine. Yes, that is sampling, and I get where the complaints are when it comes to that, but the world of sampling, like, there is so many things you can do with this sample. It's really infinite. And I never harp or diss on people that use samples because I'm a big user of them too. So that being said, this song, the main part of it is a sample that I chopped, and I found it, and the original sample, it sounds like this. It's pretty nice. Make sure that volume's up for you guys. So it started with that sample. I took that sample, put it into SliceX. Let me grab my keyboard out real quick. So I put that sample into SliceX, and as you can see here, I kind of chopped it up into different parts. And I basically just, I went. Okay, that's the first part, and then this is the second part. Oh, sorry. Whoops. I messed that part up. Hold on. This is the last part. So that's pretty much what I did. That's at least as far as how the actual sample sounds, as like far as I chopped it up. I think I might have done something a little different in the piano roll, but that is essentially what I did. I also, in SliceX, I pitched it down. I pitched it down 5 semitones, and then I got that sound. So you can obviously hear there's a difference between pitches. But that's just like what I'm saying. Like, that's just one instance of it sounds so much different from this to that, Now, The next thing I did after chopping it, which I will pull up the piano roll, but I just want to make sure I mention it. I put Unison Zen Master on it and kind of squished the high and low ends down to this mid range right here. There is some imbalance on there, which is um, kind of like a warp. If you are familiar with like isotope vinyl, it's kind of like the warp knob from that. Um, Hypnosis is like echo and delay. Ascend is reverb. Electrify adds noise to, or adds like kind of a buzz to it. Vinyl adds noise to it. So, obviously added some hypnosis, some imbalance, filter, and you get this. Without Zen, sounds like that. And then with it, so big difference there. And I used I used an automation in Zen from the high and the low ends, and I just basically open up this sample right before the drums hit. So I'll kind of show you what that sounds like. I just want this part. So you'll hear it like right here start to open up. You can hear it open up right there. You can hear that end right there, especially right here. You can hear it just open up. So if you don't have cans on, get some headphones on, put the cans on and check it out. But I open up the sample with the high ends and high end and low end on that filter from Unison Zen Master there. And I also, because uh when you open up those frequencies, the volume does kind of change a little bit because now you're getting more input into your audio. So I also kind of went and messed with the volume of it as well to just make it slightly less loud once the drums come in. The next thing I added was a bass line that I also put an automation on from the low end that kind of just, you can kind of hear the low end slowly creep up through the track, which sounds like this. So you don't hear anything right now. And then slowly you do. Right there. So you hear that bass slowly creep in with that low end, and I just did that because I like how it flows in. I like my beats and my songs to have like a movement and kind of like a moment that it feels like it's leading up to, and in the actual song, like my my verse with it, you can kind of hear like I'm intensifying, like I'm almost building up to something. So it worked out perfectly when the beat comes in. I am going to mention something is going on here because I don't understand why I'm getting a different sound right here. Maybe because it needs to be on marker 4, so let me try and fix that. Let me go to view and just turn that off. So now it shouldn't do that at all. Yeah. So I fixed that. I don't know why it was being weird like that. Sorry about that. But so we got our sample opening up. We've got our bass opening up, and then it just, the drums just come in and hit. And for this track specifically, I wanted more like boom bap drums. And Producer Grind PG actually has a boom bap sample pack called Grit, and I used pretty much all of my stuff from the drums basically came from that pack. So you got the kick, just a nice old school boom bap kick, nice crunchy boom bap snare, and some simple hats and an open hat. and the bass actually is a one shot that came from the pack as well. So you can't really hear it well right there. But if I put my keyboard an octave up, and you should be able to hear a little bit of something there. But pretty simple. And I will just play the drum and kick pattern real quick. So it's just a simple uh boom 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 boom, just a simple type thing like that. And then right here, snare kind of breaks down. So, super boom bap, especially this part right here with the, I love that snare action when it's in boom bap songs. I love it in all songs, honestly, but it definitely adds more of that boom bap element. And then the hats. So nothing too crazy, but I did add a little bit of trap element in there, as you can kind of hear these like in this in these like lower hats around here. So a little bit of a trap element, and let's hear what it sounds like when it all comes together. So I'm gonna play it from right here. Ugh. Yup. Yup. Fire. So that is how basically I made this beat. That's how the sausage was made on this one. And as I said before, you know, it's simple. It's this one sample, and it leads up to this part where, there's like a 16 bar part of the drums, and then it dips back out. And you don't need, this is one of those songs to show you an example of like, you don't need a bunch of crazy stuff to make something sound good. You just need the right recipe, So, my recipe this time, instead of leaning on a bunch of different parts and instruments and pads and leads and counter melodies, I was like, let's just see what we can do with this sample and see how we can flip it, make it sound different. And then, adding things like opening it up with the high end and the low end, adding those drums in there. Um, it changes the pace of the song. It changes the momentum. And, you go from being like, okay, I'm tired of hearing this loop, to like, oh shit, like it just got popping. So that's kind of what you want to do when you're producing. And that was what I did when I made this. So that's the beat. This is like the track mix of it. Let's go into the mastering side of things, and I'll show you what I did with the vocals. Nothing too crazy there either. And I did also add some stuff. So there is a few times in this song where I mentioned things that can kind of offer some scenery. I mentioned the breeze. This is literally called "Where the Breeze At," so the breeze is mentioned. I mentioned time. I mentioned water. So before I released this song, I had some people listen to it. One of my homies listened to it, and he was like, "These parts where you have these things that kind of you can have like an onomatopoeia for, you should add whatever that sound is for it. Like you should add that sound in the background. So when you say breeze, it would be dope if I could hear a breeze. When you say time, it would be dope if I could hear like a clock tick. So I took that advice and I took it to heart, and I added this breeze part right here. And so it's kind of like wind and birds at the same time. This is the whole sample. So it's really fast, but there is wind there. And I like the birds because it's kind of like that's the sentiment of the song, is like I've been stuck inside and working so hard for so long, like I forgot what outside feels like. So it definitely brings that atmosphere to it. This is the clock sound effect. which I just chopped that up from uh from a sample. Like, yep. So I just chopped that up and got the tick that I wanted, put it right there, and this is the beach part. So I'm gonna play that again without the track. So right there is actually a beach, like a, yeah, like foley, I guess, and then more foley of like a water, like water trickling, I guess. And so when you get it together, it kind of sounds like you're walking on a beach, you know? So I like that being there. And so that is kind of what I did as far as the sound effects go. There's another sound effect with the clock here, and then the song ends with that that wind and those birds coming back. Which I did that just because it's cool to have, different stuff when it comes to like textures and atmospheres. Like that's the kind of things I'm talking about where you don't need to lean so heavy on like instrument and different parts. Like see what sound effects you can use to make things sound different. There's also, as you can see, whoops, sorry about that. As you can see, there's also several parts throughout the track that I cut the actual beat. Um, Cutting the beat too is very useful. So things like risers and impacts and those kind of sound effects are really good when it comes to like transitions and like movement and moving your song. But something that I think doesn't get talked about as much is just silence. Like you can use silence. Silence is just as effective as a riser is because there's anticipation, and once you get that drop back, there's something that goes on in our brains where like that little bit of serotonin goes off. So, you know, remember that when you're, making stuff, like don't be scared to just use silence as a tool. Um so other than that, I got my tag that I use on most of my stuff.
Hey James, give him all gas.
That I pitched up, and I got my main vocals. So I'll show you the main vocals. I got Silk Vocal from Waves. Um, Really good plugin right here. It's got a dynamic compressor and it's an equalizer, kind of like two in one, and it's just really good. It has a lot of presets that are very useful, super helpful. Um, it just works very well. This kind of eliminates the need of stacking equalizers and compressors. Um, so that's why over here you can see I only have one other multi-band compressor and one other equalizer. On top of that multi-band compressor, I have the vocal doubler that I got from Isotope. This is a great tool just to add space, things like that. My multi-band compressor, I have my own vocal preset for it. It just I know where my voice booms. I know like the lowness in it needs cut out. I know how much presence I want from the mids. So I made my own preset, which is like right there. Fast balancer from Focusrite, which I generally use this male vocal preset, and this equalizer that is like more for low end runoff with some high end boosting over here in around the 6K area. um, so this is typically my equalizer settings for my vocals. I know that my voice booms a lot in these low bass to low mid and even mids. So I'm trying to get some of that mud out of there. A lot of nasaliness is around here in this area, this 2K to about 4K range. So that's why you see this down. And as you can hear, like this is me with sinuses, but it's not much different when I'm rapping. So as much of that like nasaliness I could get out of there, I want to. So this is my, what I've got going on my main vocals. I also have my main vocals sidechained to another channel that's running a reverb 2 on there. Not a lot of reverb, as you can see, and not a lot of decay. Not really big in size. I don't really like going crazy with my reverbs. Um, I just like to keep it simple. Same with delay. You got low levels right here, and I could honestly pull that dry down, but I didn't at the time, and it sounded fine. As you can see over here, my dials are also turned up a little bit, so that way it's not on full blast for whatever the effect that plugin is generating. And this right here on channel 3 is what I got going on for my ad libs. So for my ad libs, I'm running Panomatic, not at full blast as you can see. I've got a multi-band compressor just to kind of, sometimes on my ad libs, you know, like most people get a little loud. So I got a multi-band compressor on there, and then my equalizer, I went to this radio preset and just kind of fixed it from there. But I just like how the radio, this kind of preset sounds on my ad libs for this particular song. So that's what I went with. So let's hear it all in action. How about that? So let's play just vocals.
I've been doing this work and got me like where the breeze at. Yeah, where the keys at. Take a ride, hit the tree pack.
Now I'm going to take all this off and play that and let you guys hear what that sounds like.
I've been doing this work and got me like where the breeze at. Yeah, where the keys at. Take a ride, hit the tree pack. Best believe I need that. Only way to relax.
So as you can hear, big difference. The mic did a great job at picking up my vocals, did a great job at keeping a kind of flat, keeping my vocals pretty flat, so that way I have room to add what I need to them. But yeah, you can hear.
I've been doing this work and got me like where the breeze at. Yeah, where the keys at. Take a ride, hit the tree pack.
Now this is with everything.
I've been doing this work and got me like where the breeze at. Yeah, where the keys at. Take a ride, hit the tree pack.
So obviously you can hear those effects, the doubler, the delay, the reverb. But what stands out most to me about the difference in that is how much presence there is, how much that vocal is pulled forward, and how much control there is. You can hear all of that muddiness is gone. That this EQ right here, you can hear this kind of like this brightness in my voice compared to when it's not. So one more time, I'm gonna mute everything.
I've been doing this work and got me like where the breeze at. Yeah, where the keys at. Take a ride.
So not bad, but let's get some of that mud out of there. Let's get it sounding good.
I've been doing this work and got me like where the breeze at. Yeah, where the keys at. Take a ride, hit the tree pack. Best believe I need that.
Really good. So that's what I want when I'm doing vocals. That's what I, you know, these are typically the plugins that I use to get that studio quality sound. And I got it. So that's kind of what I ran for it. This is the vocals with the ad libs.
For the stress, though, all I do is stay inside, clocked in.
And I will just isolate that for you guys.
All I do is stay inside.
So you can kind of hear how effective that radio preset is.
All I do is stay inside.
And that's not bad, but I just like the effect. I just think this effect is.
All I do is stay inside.
I like that. I don't know. It's just cool. I really have no other explanation other than it's cool. So sometimes just make stuff because it's cool. You know, you don't have to have a reason for it. You know, if it's cool, just add it. It's just kind of like same with tattoos. People want every tattoo to mean something. It's like, can some of them just be cool? You know. So let's hear it all in action now. Because this is already out, I'm not going to play the full song. One, because I've heard it so much, you know, shooting the music video, mixing, mastering it, writing it, all of that. And two, I really want you guys to go check it out. If you really like it, I would like you guys to go check it out and hear the project as it's supposed to be, and not just me explaining how I made the song. So, you know, this is how I made it. If you are curious of how I made it and that has made your curiosity want to actually hear the song, go to wherever you listen to music. It will be there. I'm on all platforms, so you can definitely find it. What I am going to do is play a little bit before the drums come in, so that way you can hear the sound effects. You can hear everything, my vocals, the ad-libs, the sound effects, and the drums coming in, and you can hear when everything kind of opens up, you can hear the bass come in, and then I'll play a little bit through this drum part, and then, you know, that'll be about it. So if you like what you hear, go listen to it. If you're here because you want to make music or because you already are and you want to learn some more stuff, I hope that it was helpful. I hope this video was helpful for you. And if not, I'm glad that you came to check it out. So there will be more coming soon. I like doing these song breakdowns. This song was really fun for me. It means a lot. I ain't lying. Like everything you hear in this song is really where I'm at. You know, I've been working really, really hard on just trying to get as much out to you guys as I can. Been working really hard on you know, just keep making beats that I can keep putting up on my store and out on YouTube for you guys to listen to. And by this summer, I will be in an actual, you know, my actual studio that I will be making my own self and soundproofing and doing all that type of work for it. So very excited for that. But yeah, I've been working so hard. It's got me like where the breeze at. So let's hear this full thing in action. I'm gonna probably stop it when it gets down there. If you're interested, go check it out. Thank you for being here. If you're new to the channel, thank you for checking it out. Please like and subscribe and leave a comment if you want. Yeah, thank you guys. I'm gonna play this for you and hear it all in action and then get out of here. So peace out, you guys.
Be so easy just to live like me. Ocean view, that house basically came with the beach. Okay, capiche, anything you want is free. Nah, fuck them lies and motherfuck that propaganda. Only way to get shit in this life's to motherfucking stand up and take what's yours. They gon' hate for sure, but just stay the course. Fuck your dues. I've paid with pain, paid with grief, paid with remorse. Nah, you can't take no more. That's why I've been working, putting work in, bitch. Serving, laying verses even when I'm in the kitchen, bitch. Check your resume, watch your ethic when you stepping. Yeah, been the artist, the producer, and the fucking engineer. I'll make it clear, never fucking with the bullshit, cause the bullshit never got me paid. Circle started getting smaller when I spoke what's on my brain. Put my neck out, motherfuckers throwing dirt up on my name, all because I stay the same.